today's meeting. I hope that you know what is this place all about. So it is all about speaking and learning and actually overcoming your fears. So today I'm glad to open the special edition of the WorldSurfers Club for public speaking. My name is Ivan. I'm the Vice President of Operations. Unfortunately, our President is not present today, but this is my chance, so I'll do my best. I see a lot of people here, and actually this place is about, as I mentioned, learning how to speak. So we have a dedicated system of education. There is a mother club which is based in US, and this is one of the branches. So I see some new faces here, and I want to introduce on the stage the newcomers of today's meeting.
No, sorry.
Yeah. No, I don't introduce on stage the newcomers yet, because I should give something important, and don't pay attention to me. And now, yes, all the newcomers, people who came here for first time, please get on stage. I see some newcomers here. Don't be shy. Whoa, a lot of people here. Well, that's nice. Oh, stop coming. No, I'm kidding. Just get on stage. Whoa. So I have two questions for all of you. Two simple ones, I hope. What's your name and why you're here? What's your goal here? So let me sit down. Please tell us.
My name is Varvara. And
Tell to everyone, not to me. Yeah.
I'm a representative of the Parent Society in Russia, and once a year I go to one of the European cities, and I want to make my English level higher.
Thank you very much. Varvara.
My name is Philip. I saw the advertisement of the event on the program of the library, and I'm here to learn to speak better.
Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Natalia. I'm here because I heard that you are very cool guys. That's why I decided to learn something from you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Natalie and I'm a freeloader. I'm kidding. I'm just, I decided to boost my English and boost my speaking skills.
Oh, nice. It's the best place to be. So.
Hi, my name is Katya, and I work in marketing in IT, and I'm looking forward to traveling more and be present at career events, and this is, I think, a good opportunity for me to overcome some of my anxieties and concerning public speaking, so that's why I'm here.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Misha. I'm just here to freshen up my English.
Okay, thank you, Misha.
Hi there, my name is Kier, and I just want to have fun.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, my name is Rosanna, and I'm here to practice my English and maybe overcome some fears of public speaking. And I knew about you from a friend of mine. So now
Yes.
I'm here with you.
Hi, my name is Kate. I'm pursuing my bachelor's degree in economics, and I'm here to practice public speaking and probably boost my English level.
Okay, thank you. And?
Hi, my name is Michael. I'm come from China, and I want to practice my English, and I want to have a higher level and to pass the exams.
Okay. So we'll help you with that, hopefully. So thank you, everyone. Please, a round of applause. You can take your seats, and actually, usually it is not as crowded, I'd say, on the stage, and we are a little bit more organized. But today's meeting is a really special one because it's a contest. It's an international contest edition of our meetings, but there will be a person who will explain you that. First of all, I would ask you actually to put your mobile phones on silent mode, because today we'll have several really great speeches, and we won't disturb them. Secondly, I want to introduce on stage the person who will rule today's meeting, the chair of the meeting. So please welcome on stage Julia. He will explain you what will happen and why will happen and why we should be happy and grateful. So thank you very much. Congratulations.
Hello everyone. I'm really glad to greet you here. And today isn't just a regular meeting. As you see, today is a speech contest. That means that our today contestants are going to compete one against another in order to win the opportunity to present WorldSurfers Club at an upcoming Toastmasters Spring International Conference. And it is going to be a really huge event. You are all invited there. It's going to be in 1 month, on the 13th and 14th of April. Foreign speakers will come here in Moscow, and they will deliver their great workshops, and registration is still open, and there are some tickets are available for purchase. So you can see the flyers on your seats. Please don't hesitate to follow the QR codes or links and register there. You're all welcome there, members or just guests. And before the meeting, we have gone through one procedure, drawing, and we determined the order of our contestants today, and I will complete the list. We have 6 of our contestants, and the order you will gonna see here. And I'd like to present you my team. My team comprises Chief Judge Nikolai Denisenko. Let's meet him. Only he knows the secret judge who are sitting here in this room and who are going to evaluate our today's contestants. And I have a question to Nikolai. Nikolai, has all the judges been duly instructed today before the meeting?
Yes, definitely. All judges have been briefed, yes, and informed how to make the evaluation. Yes.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. Let's move on to the next members of my team. It is timers. We have 2 nice people, timers, who will help us. You can come here, and 2 people know you. They will, it's Anya Borovskaya and Alexander Korzhevnikov. They will help our today's contestants to arrange in time and show the signals. If the speech exceeds 5 minutes, they will show the green light. If the speech exceeds 6 minutes, so they will show the yellow light. And if the speech exceeds 7 minutes, the light will be red till the end of the speech. And the speakers which speech will exceed 7 minutes and 30 seconds are going to be disqualified. Yeah, we have really strict timing rules for today. Thank you, dear timers. Thanks. Dear guests, you may also participate in evaluation of our today's contestants. After all of the speech, you're gonna have 1 minute to evaluate our contestants, and the most active guest will gonna be gifted and awarded on the next meeting with a book, which author is one of the most experienced Toastmaster and public speaker, Sergei Kuzin. Well, I'd like to say also that our contestants may either be here in this room or go outside of the room and wait their turn during the contest. So I think that we need to start now, and yes.
About link to
yeah, we will show the link after the presentations. Yes, of course. And now I want to invite our joke of the day, Alexander Korzhevnikov, on stage.
Yeah, I've got a little
joke today. And so, Dr. Watson, Holmes, go on a camping trip. They set up their tent and fall asleep. A few hours later, Holmes wakes up his faithful friend, tells him, Watson, look up to the sky. What did you see? Watson, look up in the sky, says, I see the stars. Holmes asks him again, and what does it tell you? Watson thinks for a minute and answers, astronomically, I see 1 billion of possible planets, 1 million of galaxies. Astrologically, I see that Saturn and Leo. Theologically, I see how world is big and how we are insignificant and small. And meteorologically, I see that will be a good weather for today. And what does it tell you, Holmes? Holmes silent for a moment and tells him, Watson, you idiot. You just can see that someone have stolen our tent? And right now, I would like to go from the joke today to the thought of the day. Sometimes you don't need things too much, too deep. And the answer is on the surface, right to you. Thanks.
And now we, in a couple of minutes, we will start our contest. I also would like to say that this conference is going to be really a huge event. It's gonna be held in a month, as I told. Also, we invite you to the after party after this conference. We will have fun, doing some interesting activities in a relaxed and chill atmosphere. Again, tickets are still available. There are still remaining just a few of them, so hurry up, please. It's easy to follow the site. You can see site on these flyers.
Ticket for the conference, so maybe you can explain.
You can follow the link, you can register there and you will see the prices, but now for members it's about 1,500 rubles, and for not members about 2,000 rubles.
And if we buy it now, is it going to be cheaper and then going to
Yes, there are some discounts if you do it really fast, so you will like to purchase cheaper. Yes. And also, the price for the after party of the conference is 1,500 rubles too.
And what if I don't drink? It will be cheaper.
If you don't drink,
Depends on how much you eat.
You can eat more.
Double.
Through your budget.
there are going to be 6 workshops from delivered with a very professional, delivered by really professional speakers, public speakers. For example, a speaker who was educated in USA, his public speaking and also in Pakistan. So you can see in this on the side there are presented the speakers. Just a few seconds and we will start. So something tells me that we are ready to start. Almost. Almost, yeah. But I think that we can start with the first one. All right. So I invite to the stage our first contestants, Gaia and Aganisyan. The math behind beauty. The math behind beauty, Gaia Aganisyan.
Fellow Toastmasters, dear members and guests, do you agree that all women are beautiful?
Yay! Yes.
Okay, but nevertheless, there are such women as Angelina Jolie, especially young one, or Monica Bellucci, that everyone, or almost everyone, can agree that they're just amazing. But on the other hand, you open your Instagram and find different girls with a lot of followers, and you don't understand why so many people like them. Do you know who has the most followed profiles on Instagram?
Beyonce.
Kim?
Kim Kardashian is one of them, like fourth one.
Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez, Adriana Lima, yeah, and so on. Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
None of them, and also Cristiano Ronaldo, but he's not a girl. They're not supermodels, but a lot of people admire them. So I have a question. If there is any unique rule that can measure the beauty, I decided to research it. And I found two theories which can help to measure the beauty. The first one is called the golden ratio theory. Even it was developed in ancient Greece. People used to measure different parts of the same thing, which they thought it was very beautiful. And they came to the conclusion that the results show the same ratio. It's 1.6. Also, Leonardo da Vinci used this golden ratio to draw his ideal man and to draw Mona Lisa too. I decided that it is a good idea to measure the body parameters. So what do you need to do? You have to measure your chest, waist and hips, then divide your measurements. So you can see here, chest measurements divide by waist and hips by waist. And after that you compare your results with the ideal 1.6. And do you know what I got? I realized that I look even better than most of the Victoria's Secret models. I'm not sure that a lot of people will agree with it. Maybe my mother will. I hope my boyfriend, maybe father, not sure about him also. Okay, I decided to continue my research. And the next theory was The Beauty Formula by Landau. Landau was a famous physicist and women lover. He divided women into 3 parts. The first one, beautiful. Second, pretty. And third, interesting. He used this equation to estimate the beauty. Of course, I measured my body, and the results showed that I can be a really good Playboy model. Fortunately, I have another job, so I don't have to think about it. So what does it all mean? So these formulas and these equations can help to measure our external beauty. But Landau, he was also a very clever man. He was a person with a very good sense of humor. He said that these parameters are not enough because you should also take into account how men react on a woman, how many sounds you can hear when men see a woman. So to sum up, I'd like to say that this is just external parameters which you can change. You can do sports, you can keep diet, or you can use a very good makeup, or even you can change it with a plastic surgery. I'm not recommending it, but anyway. But what about your inner beauty? Very often it's much more important, and no math can help you to measure your inner beauty. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'd like to ask our timer to time 1 minute and 30 seconds. And we need on the screen before we go to evaluation. Dear guests, please evaluate our speakers using this QR code or this link. So the time is up, and it is the time for the second contestant. I invite here Christina. So I ask you, dear guests and members, to evaluate Christina's speech using this link or QR code. Timer, please time 1 minute for this.
Time is up.
So the time is over. Dear guests and members, it's time for our third participant, Anna Sortes. I love Italy. I love Italy, Anna Sortes. I really love Italy. And I have been visiting Italy every year for the last 5 years. Who also love Italy? Please raise your hand. So you will understand me. What I love in Italy: nature, food, wine, traditions, and certainly Italians. Italians are always fashionable and elegant in any age. But what I love in Italians most of all is their optimism and resourcefulness. And I'm going to tell you 3 short stories about different cities of Italy just to prove it. And my first story is about Pisa. Have you ever heard about Leaning Tower of Pisa? Please raise your hand who have heard. And who was in Pisa? And those who were will understand me. There are 2 places in Pisa that actually feed the whole city: an airport for low-cost airlines and Piazza de Miracoli. There that famous tower is located. But what is the story behind that famous tower? Once upon a time, citizens of Pisa decided to build the most beautiful white tower. But the effort of the tower, Banano Pisano, didn't calculate the softness of the soil, the size of the base, and the weight of the tower. And tower began to fall already during construction. And what Italians did? They said, okay, we cannot have the most beautiful tower in Italy, but we would have the most famous leaning tower in the world. And now nearly everyone knows this leaning tower of Pisa. And my second story is about another popular city of Italy called Siena. In Siena, there is one of the oldest universities in the world. But forget about it. It doesn't matter, because Siena is popular for its holiday called Palio. During this holiday, 17 districts of the city organize horse race on the main square. And this holiday is held 2 times a year, and the celebration lasts up to 2 weeks. But running time itself is only about 1.5 minutes. Can you imagine? And last year, I was in Venice. Venice is the most beautiful and unforgettable city I have ever seen. But my third story is not about Venice. My third story is about 2 famous islands in Venice Lagoon, Murano and Burano. Murano was always popular for its glass factory. And a lot of people come to this island to see the factory and the production of Murano glass. You can see an example on the picture. But Burano wasn't so popular, and there were Italian grandmothers who lived there and were eating some stuff which were not so popular. But they were jealous, and they wanted to eat tasty.
So one day they gathered for a meeting to discuss the situation. And as it was Italy, they brought a lot of wine. The meeting lasted for a long time and closer to the midnight. The grandmothers, heated by the discussion, went out to the streets and began to beat the remaining bottles of wine against the walls of the city. In the morning, or more possibly in the afternoon, looking at the mess they had done, they decided not to wash the walls, but to repaint them in different colors. And now, Burana is famous for its colorful houses. And lots of tourists come there just to see these houses. And it's really cost to be seen, I will tell you. I like traveling, as you could have understood. And I think that traveling helps us understand ourselves and other people, to see amazing things and places. And we can learn a lot from other nations. And thanks to Italians, I became a little bit more optimistic and I hope resourceful. Thank you very much.
Dear guests, also please evaluate Anna's speech. Okay, and I ask timer to turn 1 minute.
Time is over.
Okay. So now it's time for fourth speaker. Our fourth speaker, Julia Tokareva, Haunted by Church and the Big Bang Theory. Haunted by Church and the Big Bang Theory, Julia Tokareva.
I follow a lot of personal development trainers, coaches on my Facebook and Instagram. So every day when I scroll my social posts, I see different articles related to your motivation, to your personal growth, to stimulating you achieving even more. And what I noticed that recent trend is related to your brain power. So every time there I get an article, it would always be connected to visualization techniques, to working on your confidence, on your brain, training your brain, programming your consciousness. And after reading all of these articles, I discovered the main theory for myself. And the theory about training your brain or how to achieve anything in your life. So, how can we do that? Imagine you want to have a car, or you want to have a house, or let's go in further. You want to have a beautiful wife or a very smart husband. Let's go even further. Let's imagine the absolutely perfect life. Life where you're fulfilled, when you're feeling happy, and every single day. So how can you achieve that? And one of the main tools is the visualization technique. some of you that are familiar with this technique is what do you need to do? So you have a car, okay, a house. So you need to think about this house every day. You wake up thinking about this house, you go to bed thinking about the house as well. And this house is literally haunting you every day. And you keep thinking, you need to imagine the shape, you need to imagine the smell of the house, if that could possibly be. And then after months or years, the dream will come true. As much as I believe in this power of visualization, because it does work, and a lot of people follow it, and a lot of people people spend so much energy on this visualization, because it does require a lot of energy. You practice it on an everyday basis. But I discovered for myself that this way of achieving your goal and your dreams requires too much energy. I'm too lazy and I want to just spend time in bed rather than thinking about my perfect house. And what I noticed that there is another way of shaping your life and setting it to the right flow. And I really think that your little habits, your everyday likes and love and passions shape your flow of your life in so much better way than any visualization technique. And I will share with you a couple of stories of mine which I never imagined that can unfold in the way it unfolded. I never imagined that my little passions, little things that I do every other day can end up being in this manner. And one of the stories. I'm very much interested in religion, church, and Jews. I have no idea why I'm interested in Jews. I'm just interested in Jews. My grandfather would always tell me stories about Jews, about the church. He would take me to the church, not to pray, but just to show me around. I would always come to him asking different questions, and I got so excited about all of these stories and knowledge that I'm receiving. And in the end, my passion for church and religion led me here. In my work, I had a task. I needed to hire my team member, my first team member, and I was very, very carefully preparing for this moment because, oh, come on, that's your first little baby, you'll have on your team. And I was preparing the interview questions, and my candidates passed through intense level of selection, and I finally selected the best candidate. And my team member is an altar boy in the church. He goes there every day, and he helps to give blessings to old ladies in the church. Well, that's him. He really looks like a Greek altar boy, very, very much authentic. Since I work for IT company, well, it's super technology driven. So my tech morning starts the following. My team guy would come over to me and will be super excited, like, hey Yulia, I have a great news for you. I was thinking, oh yeah, you finished the task. No, he's like, I have a great news for you. Now finally, I can give blessings to old ladies, and I can serve during Easter these days. I was like, yay! Have you fulfilled that task? Oh, that's another story. And after thinking, and after the time has passed, and now I think that I have hired the best team member ever. I have the best conversations with him during the day. He's the best performer, and I absolutely adore him. My second story, I think, is related to even greater passion of mine. The thing that I absolutely love, and I do every Saturday, and I was doing every day at the university, is watching The Big Bang Theory. That's the best and the funniest movie, the funniest series ever. My whole university went with this movie. Like, you have a bunch of stress, you have exams, you have work, any other volunteering activities, and only Big Bang Theory was saving me from not dying there and finishing with the good results. And now, every Saturday, I wait for the episode from the Big Bang Theory. Those who don't know, Big Bang Theory is, well, it's about the four guys, the four geeks. Imagine the smartest guy you ever know. Now multiply it by 100, and you will get these four beautiful guys. These guys are incredibly smart, but at the same level, they are incredibly socially awkward and have zero people skills. And by the end of the movie, they were always struggling finding a relationship. They were always lonely, and finally they found those three beautiful girls. And I was laughing at them. Haha, how can these beautiful girls, can possibly date them? Well, I was laughing too early. now I'm dating a guy who is exactly the mix of these characters. And I can't imagine how much it resembles with me. Imagine a fight. Everyone gets in a fight, right? So we got in a fight, a very simple fight, was nothing. And then we got very upset, and in the morning I received a message. Yulia, I was thinking about that fight the entire night. I read a couple of articles and I consulted with my psychologist. And he said that the reason for our miscommunication is that I'm being too rational, and you have this cultural women-driven code, very Russian-driven, and I think that's exactly the way it led to our misunderstanding. That was the cutest note I ever received. As much as I believe in the power of visualization, I do believe these little habits, little loves, can lead you to so much better way that you never expect. And my urge for you is just to pay attention, because they do affect you in such a huge way.
Dear friends, please evaluate Julia's speech, and timer, please, time 1 minute.
It's time to go further.
Nice. So it's time for fifth speaker, Alexei. For the presentation. Alexei Lavzov, recipe for resume. Recipe for resume, Alexei Lavzov.
How much time does it take to make first impression on the employer? According to the recent research of Hunter Research Department, it takes 8 seconds. Only 8 seconds, which is less than the time Usain Bolt covers his 100 meters distance. And today I'd like to share with you my ideas about how to prepare a resume which is catchy and will make positive first impression on the employer. There are hundreds of brilliant books on how to write resume, and a great compilation you could find at the site of National Resume Writers Association. And all of these books contain thousands of interesting recommendations. However, for those who are planning to work in Russia, the majority of these recommendations have no sense. For example, how to write a killer LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn profile, let's remember, 2015, LinkedIn is blocked in Russia and you couldn't use it. Another example, cover letters. Well, traditionally they are used in Western corporations. However, in Russia, 2-page resume is sufficient for starting to communicate with a future employer? Well, I work in a bank as technical specialist, and I participate in hiring process. And the process could be represented in 3 stages: resume selection, technical interview, and some soft skills interview. And I, as a technical specialist, participate in the 2 first stages. Firstly, I analyze candidates' resumes, trying to find out competencies that are relevant and required by my company. And secondly, I organize and manage technical interviews for the successful candidates. And based on my personal experience, I formulated a recipe for writing a resume, which could be quoting. My recipe contains 3 main attributes of the resume, and these attributes could be represented as a pyramid. And the basement of the pyramid states that the coaching resume should be relevant to the job title and job description that you are looking for. I have experience in system analysis, and I have a resume of system analyst. And once I decided to change the job and submitted my resume to both those who were looking for system analysts and those who were looking for software developers. And as a result, I received a number of invitations for the interview for those who were looking for analysts, and 0 invitations for developer seekers. And the reason is clear. My resume was not relevant to job description of software developers. The second component states that our resume should be concrete. It should contain details based on which our employer could decide if you are a suitable candidate or not. For example, if your job description states that your future responsibilities are writing web services, it's not important what is it, writing web services, then the phrase in your resume that in the previous place I was writing web services have no doesn't give any additional information to your employer because it's too abstract. It's better to write which services have you written, which technologies have you used, which business tasks have you solved. And by adding this information to your resume, you increase your chances to be invited to the interview. And the last component of my recipe is project orientation. As I mentioned earlier, I have no experience in commercial software development. However, once I decided to write my own software program, and I made a prototype, and they wrote a paper about this prototype, and finally I presented my prototype in front of the software community. And then I made a new resume of software developer, building it around my prototype, my paper, and my presentation, and submitted this resume to 8 companies. And I received 6 invitations. 75% of success without previous commercial experience in software development. Not a bad result. To sum up, I'd like to share with you my recipe, which states that your resume should be relevant, concrete, concrete and project oriented. My RCP for you. And if you follow my recipe and try to organize your resume according with this criteria, with no doubt you'll receive invitation from your future employer.
Now it is time for evaluation for our judges and for our guests. Timer, please start a minute.
It's time for the final one.
Okay. So now it's time for the last but not the least speaker.